Well, students, today in this lecture we will discuss infrared spectra of metal carbonyls. As far infrared spectra is considered, it is one of the most important techniques which can be used to gather considerable information about the molecular structure, symmetry, and bonding of these complexes. This information can be obtained through number, pattern, and position of carbon oxygen, that means carbonyl stretching absorption bands in these complexes. As far carbonyl group is considered, there are two stretching vibrations. One is called as symmetric stretching and another is called as asymmetric stretching. Both these modes result in the change in dipole moment, and hence both symmetric stretching as well as asymmetric stretching vibrations in carbonyl group are infrared active. Thus, in the terminally ligated carbon monoxide metal complexes, two absorption bands can be obtained in the infrared spectra. The carbon-oxygen bond order and frequency related to its absorption are directly proportional to each other. These absorption depends upon several factors. For example, charge on the complex and the ligand environment around the central metal. The vibrational frequency of IR spectra is given by the equation nu var is equal to 1 upon 2 pi square root of k upon mu, where k is called as force constant, whereas mu is called as reduced mass. From this equation, it is clear that this vibrational frequency nu bar is directly proportional to the force constant k. And this force constant is a measure of bond strength, which in turn depends upon bond order. Thus, it can be easily concluded that higher the frequency, greater is the force constant, and if greater is the force constant, greater will be the bond order, and if greater will be the bond order, stronger will be the carbon-oxygen bond. Moreover, vibrational frequency is related to the extent of back bonding. This back bonding can be explained with the help of following diagram. As already explained in the last lecture, that in metal carbonyls there exists a sigma bond in addition to a pi bond. This sigma bond is formed by the overlap of fully filled molecular orbitals located on the carbon atom of carbonyl ligand, which are called as highest occupied molecular orbitals HOMO, and the vacant d orbitals located on the metal atom. However, the pi bond is formed by the sidewise overlap of fully filled d orbitals located on the metal and anti-bonding molecular orbitals located on the carbon atom, which are called as lowest unoccupied molecular orbitals. This bond is sometimes called as metal to ligand bond or d pi p pi bond. This back bond decreases the electron density on the metal atom, whereas it increases the electron density on carbon-oxygen bond of carbonyl group. Hence, the bond order of CO it decreases, and hence the stretching vibrations also decreases. This can be viewed with the help of following examples. As we move down the table, you can easily find that the CO stretching frequency, it goes on decreasing. Why is it so? This can be explained with the help of synergic bonding or back bonding. For example, consider the case of carbon monoxide, which is free and hence no question of pi bond or back bond arise at all. Hence, it arises slightly at higher frequency region, that is around 2150 centimeter inverse. However, if we consider the anionic complex hexacarbonyl vanadium, then we can easily say that the electron density on the metal atoms of vanadium is more as compared to the complex manganese, which is a cationic complex. Since in this complex the electron density is maximum, therefore the extent of pi back bond is more in the vanadium complex as compared to that of manganese complex. This increase in pi back donation decreases the strength of carbon oxygen bond of the carbonyl group, and hence it decreases the absorption frequency. In addition to this, the CO stretching absorption band can be used to differentiate between terminal carbonyls and bridged carbonyl ligands. The terminal carbonyl groups absorbs slightly at higher region in the infrared spectra, whereas these bridged carbonyl ligands, they absorb at the lower frequency region in the absorption in the infrared spectra. Therefore, it is easily possible to differentiate between terminal carbonyls, which absorbs above 1900 centimeter inverse in the infrared spectra, whereas the bridged carbonyl groups, they absorb below 1900 in the absorption spectra. This infrared spectra can also be used to differentiate between cationic carbonyl complexes, neutral carbonyl complexes, and anionic carbonyl complexes. For example, consider the case of isoelectronic hexacarbonyls as follow. If we observe these complexes, the hexacarbonyl iron, it is a cationic complex which absorb at higher frequency, whereas in case of hexacarbonyl titanium, it is an anionic complex. The CO frequency absorption occur at a lower frequency region. This again can be explained with the help of pi back bonding. In hexacarbonyl iron, the central metal iron is in +2 oxidation state. That means there is lower electron density on the metal orbitals located on the iron, and hence the extent of pi back bonding is less in this case. Due to decrease or less extent of pi back bonding, the strength of the carbon oxygen bond increases. As a result, it absorbs at slightly higher frequency regions. However, if we consider the hexacarbonyl titanium complex, in this complex, titanium is having an oxidation state of -2. This means the electron density on the metal orbitals of titanium is more as compared to that of iron, manganese, chromium, or that of vanadium. And hence, the pi back bond formation or the strength of pi back bonding is more in titanium complex, which increases the electron density on CO bond, thereby decreases the bond order or the strength of CO bond, and hence it absorbs at lower frequency region. Therefore, we can easily conclude that it is the infrared spectra which can be used to draw the structure of metal carbonyls. It can be used to differentiate between cationic, anionic, and neutral carbonyls. In addition, we can, with the help of infrared spectra, we can differentiate between terminal carbonyls complexes and bridged carbonyl complexes. This was all about today's lecture. Thank you very much.